Did you know that the right hot tent can completely change the way you experience winter backpacking? Instead of crawling into a freezing shelter at the end of a long day, imagine having a compact wood stove warming your space while you dry your gear, cook a meal, and relax after hours on the trail. But here's the catch. Not every hot tent is built for the same kind of adventure. Some are incredibly lightweight, but give up interior space, while others offer room for 2 or more people, but become much heavier to carry. So, which one actually deserves a place in your backpack in 2026? Today, we're comparing the 5 best hot tents for backpacking in 2026, looking at weight, weather protection, setup, stove compatibility, space, versatility, and overall value. And by the end, you'll have a much clearer idea of which one fits your style of camping. All the links are in the description, so if you're ready to find your next winter shelter, let's jump straight in. Number 5. Starting our list is the Red Camp Large Hammock Hot Tent, and this one is definitely not your typical hot tent. If you're a hammock camper who refuses to give up suspended sleeping even when temperatures drop, this shelter offers a very interesting solution. Its biggest advantage is right in the name. Instead of forcing you to sleep directly on the ground, it's designed to work with a hammock setup while still giving you the protection and warmth of a hot tent. You get a built-in stove jack for using a compatible wood-burning stove, snow skirts to help reduce cold drafts, full mesh windows for warmer weather ventilation, and a clever 3-way zipper door arrangement that works around hammock straps. The 210T polyester grid fabric keeps the shelter reasonably lightweight for its generous footprint, coming in at under 8 pounds, although that still makes it considerably heavier than something like the McTow mount at number 3. In bad weather, the Red Camp can perform impressively when properly guyed out, helping shed rain and wind while allowing a stove to transform the interior into a much warmer living space. The trade-off is setup. Unlike a simple center pole teepee, you need suitable trees with the right spacing, and getting the suspension and shelter tension just right can take some practice. Compared with the One Tigress Raven Nest at number 4, the Red Camp is more specialized because it focuses heavily on hammock users, while the Raven Nest is more conventional for ground-based sleeping. On the other hand, if you already love hammock camping, that specialization becomes its biggest strength. It also offers a level of seasonal versatility that many dedicated winter shelters simply don't provide. So, who should consider it? If you're a hammock enthusiast who wants to extend your camping season into colder months without carrying an enormous shelter, this could be a smart and relatively affordable option. But if you're chasing the lowest possible pack weight or want the simplest setup, there are stronger choices higher on our list. What do you think? Would you rather sleep in a hammock during winter or stick with a traditional ground shelter? Let me know in the comments. Number 4 next up is the One Tigress Raven Nest Hot Tent, and this shelter takes a very different approach from the Red Camp. Instead of being designed around a hammock, the Raven Nest is a compact 2-person tunnel-style hot tent aimed at backpackers, hikers, and bushcraft campers who want more usable interior space without jumping all the way into a large base camp shelter. One of its biggest strengths is the tunnel layout. Compared with the single-pole McTow mount at number 3, the Raven Nest gives you a more defined interior and better separation between sleeping and gear areas, which can make a big difference when you're spending long hours inside during poor weather. It features a built-in stove jack, 2 entrances, internal snow skirts, and compatibility with an optional inner mesh tent, giving you more flexibility across different seasons. The 70D ripstop nylon construction, silicone and PU treatment, and roughly 3,000mm waterproof rating give it a good balance between portability and weather resistance. At around 9.3 pounds, however, it's clearly not competing with the Ultralight tow mount on weight. That's an important distinction if you're planning long-distance backpacking, where every pound matters. But if your trips are shorter and you value livability more than absolute minimum weight, that extra weight can be worthwhile. The tunnel design also handles rain and wind effectively when properly pitched, and the snow skirt can help keep drafts from sneaking underneath in colder conditions. Setup is relatively straightforward with its 2-pole structure, but just like any hot tent, performance depends heavily on proper staking and tension. Compared with the Red Camp, the Raven Nest is less specialized and may appeal to a wider range of campers, While compared with the Pomoli Stove Hut 70 at number 2, it offers a more conventional tunnel configuration rather than a highly modular design. Its mid-range pricing also makes it attractive for people who want to enter hot tenting without immediately spending premium brand money. So if you're looking for a practical two-person shelter with better interior organization and more headroom than a lightweight teepee, the Raven Nest deserves a serious look. Would you choose this extra space over saving several pounds in your backpack? Tell me what you think. Number 3. At number 3, we have the Mick Toe Mount Ultralight Hot Tent. And this is where things get really interesting for serious backpackers. If your first priority is keeping your pack as light as possible, this tent immediately jumps out because it weighs only around 3.6 pounds, making it dramatically lighter than both the Red Camp and One Tigris Raven Nest. That kind of weight difference can completely change how enjoyable a long-distance winter hike feels. The toe mount uses a minimalist single-pole teepee design with a fire-retardant stove jack, top ventilation cap, dual zippered doors, and an integrated snow skirt. It's made from lightweight 20D silicone-coated ripstop nylon with a reported 3,000mm waterproof rating and taped seams, giving it a strong combination of low weight and weather protection. The conical shape is another major advantage because it naturally helps shed rain and snow while offering good stability when all the guy-out points are properly secured. And setup is one of its biggest selling points. With a center pole doing most of the structural work, a solo camper can get this shelter standing relatively quickly without dealing with the more complicated multi-pole arrangements found on tents like the Pomoli Stove Hut 70. But lightweight design always comes with compromises. Compared with the Raven Nest, you give up some usable interior space, and the single center pole can make the floor layout less convenient. You also don't get the same spacious feel as the Aboron at number 1. However, for a solo backpacker, that may not matter at all. In fact, less space can be an advantage because there's simply less tent to carry and heat. Compared with the Red Camp, the toe mount is also far lighter and more straightforward for ground-based camping, although it doesn't provide the unique hammock functionality. And when you compare it with the Stove Hut 70 at number 2, the toe mount wins for simplicity and weight, while the Pomoli wins for versatility and interior usability. So if you're a solo hiker, hunter, or minimalist bushcrafter who counts every ounce, this could be one of the most compelling choices on the list. But here's the question: would you sacrifice interior space to cut several pounds from your pack? Let me know in the comments. Number 2. Coming in at number 2 is the Pomoli Stove Hut 70 version 3.0, and this one might be the most interesting all-rounder on the entire list. Why? Because it sits right between a minimalist backpacking shelter and a comfortable hot tent, giving you a level of flexibility that's hard to ignore. The Stove Hut 70 uses an asymmetrical design that can be configured in different ways, and that modular approach is one of its biggest advantages over the simpler Mick Toe Mount at number 3. You get a redesigned fire-retardant stove jack, a wider protective flap, an integrated snow skirt, dual entrances with upgraded YKK zippers, and a combination of tarp poles and tent poles that allow several pitching configurations. The 70D ripstop polyester construction is designed to provide durability and better resistance to sagging when wet, while waterproofing and taped seams help it stand up to challenging conditions. Inside, the sloping A-frame or wedge-style layout provides surprisingly useful space for a solo camper, and the design can give you more practical headroom around the stove than you might expect from such a compact shelter. That's where it starts to separate itself from the toe mount. The toe mount is lighter and simpler, but the Stove Hut 70 gives you more flexibility and a more livable interior. Compared with the One Tigris Raven Nest at number 4, the Pomoli is more modular and generally more appealing to campers who enjoy experimenting with different setups, although that flexibility means there's a little more to learn before you can pitch it quickly and confidently. It also requires careful staking and alignment to get the best structural tension, particularly when the weather turns rough. For experienced solo adventurers and bushcraft enthusiasts, that learning curve may be completely worth it. You're getting a shelter that can adapt to different situations instead of locking you into one configuration. It's also lighter and more backpacking friendly than the larger Aboron at number 1, although the Aberon wins if your priority is simply having more room for people and gear. So if you want versatility, useful interior space, stove compatibility, and a relatively compact package, the Stove Hut 70 is a very strong choice. But is versatility more important to you than simplicity? I'd love to hear your answer in the comments. Number 1. And finally, taking the number 1 spot is the Aberon Hot Tent. And this choice might surprise backpackers who expect the lightest tent to automatically win. The Aberon takes a completely different approach by prioritizing interior space, simplicity, and affordability over ultralight performance. Designed for roughly 2 to 4 people, it uses a classic teepee-style layout with an integrated fire-retardant stove jack, dual entry doors, a surrounding snow skirt, and a sturdy waterproof fabric rated around 3,000 millimeters with taped seams. That means you're getting considerably more room than you'll find in the Mic toe mount, and you can comfortably use the extra space for sleeping, changing clothes, storing gear, or relaxing around a small compatible wood stove. The trade-off is obvious. This is not the tent you choose when your only goal is to minimize pack weight. Compared with the toe mount's roughly 3.6-pound design, the Aberon is much more focused on comfort and capacity. But if you're camping with a partner, spending multiple nights in one location, or simply prefer having enough space to move around, that extra weight can make sense. The classic conical shape also does a good job shedding rain and snow and can handle wind effectively when the reinforced guy lines are properly secured. Another major advantage is setup. The center aluminum pole and straightforward ring of stakes make the design relatively simple to pitch, especially compared with the more involved multi-pole configuration of the Pomoly Stove Hut 70. So, when you compare all 5, the Aberon is the comfort and value champion, the Pomoly is the versatility champion, the toe mount is the lightweight champion, the Raven Nest is a strong choice for compact 2-person tunnel-style camping, and the Red Camp is the specialist pick for hammock enthusiasts. That makes the Aberon particularly appealing to campers who want to enter the world of hot tenting without paying premium brand prices. It may not be the best choice for a long-distance ultralight trek, but for casual backpacking, hunting trips, fishing camps, and small group winter adventures, its extra space can be a huge advantage. So now I want to hear from you. After comparing all 5, which one would you actually take into the wilderness? The lightweight toe mount, versatile Pomoly, roomy Aberon, tunnel-style Raven Nest, or hammock-focused Red Camp? Drop your pick in the comments. And there you have it, the 5 best hot tents for backpacking in 2026, each designed for a slightly different kind of outdoor adventure. If minimum weight is your top priority, the Mic toe mount is hard to ignore. If you want versatility and a clever modular design, the Pomoly Stove Hut 70 is a fantastic option. The One Tigris Raven Nest makes more sense if you want a practical tunnel shelter with useful interior separation, while the Red Camp is the standout choice for hammock campers who want to push into colder seasons. And if your biggest priorities are space, simplicity, and value, the Aberon takes the top spot in this ranking. Of course, the best hot tent really depends on your own adventure, because a 3-pound shelter might be perfect for one backpacker and completely impractical for someone camping with a partner and lots of gear. Before you buy, always check the actual packed weight, stove compatibility, ventilation, weather protection, included poles and stakes, and whether the accessories you need are included. And remember, a hot tent and wood stove require careful use, proper ventilation, and appropriate stove safety practices. All the links are in the description, so you can check out the options and decide which one fits your needs. If this video helped you narrow down your choices, hit that like button, subscribe for more outdoor gear guides, and share this video with a fellow backpacker. And most importantly, tell me in the comments, which of these 5 hot tents would you choose for your next adventure?